Good morning, my loves. Happy Friday. Friday Ascension update. The prelude to the solstice. It's the 19th today, I think. And on Sunday, it's the December solstice. It's the point at which the incoming Christ light reaches its maximum, its peak. And boy, can we feel it. Genuine question, how are you all doing? From my heart to yours. Just like to take this opportunity to say thank you to each and every one of you for joining me. I know some of you have been kind of sitting in the woods with me since I began doing this, which was for just a little bit of a history lesson. I've been doing YouTube videos for years, but I didn't really concentrate on it or even realise what an algorithm was until about 2020. And it was the happenings of the world, it was the happenings of 2020 that got me sat here in this spot and other spots on a regular basis. Tuning in on Mondays, tuning in on Fridays, and now also Wednesdays as well for the WAGS group. So from my heart to all of yours, gratitude, massive gratitude for coming along for the ride with me and listening to my explanations and breakdowns of energies to the best that I can understand it and describe it. And I will be continuing to do this next year. How things will evolve and expand, I do not know. But thank you. And the energies that are coming, this year has been something else. I want to reflect a little bit about how much this year has given, but also how much it's taken. Because it's taken a lot to get through it. It's taken a lot for each of us to be focused, to be dedicated enough, to be strong enough to undergo the adaptations that have been requested of us on a soul and on a physical level. We all understand now that we're here for a purpose. You know, if you're listening to me, you will know that you have a soul purpose. You might not understand what that purpose is. You might not really kind of have a clue in the direction of travel with which you are going, but you'll understand that there is something going on here on this world, and that you are changing, and that you are part of it. It's how we all draw together this soul family, this soul family draw, where we know that people of our vibration and of our language are the support network that we need. But this year has been incredibly challenging for the majority of us. I do know, however, I have spoken to a few people who have just sailed through this year, and I'm like, well, hats off, well done for sailing through it. Soul plans are soul plans at the end of the day. If you've got a lot to lose, if you've got a lot to release, if you've got a lot to let go of, then you're going to do it, and it's going to feel tough in many cases. Or sometimes it can just feel like the most blessed relief, just letting it all go. But energetically, I've never seen anything quite like the structure that is coming in and that's happened this year. And I've used the analogy before of us in the position that we're in at the moment, regardless of whether we consider ourselves highly trained or whether we're kind of like a little bit novice. We see ourselves as novices on the ascension levels. We are what I would compare to, we have in England or the UK something called the Couch to 5K, which helps prepare runners that are mostly completely unfit, move from loafing around on the couch to being able to run a 5K being 3.2 miles. And that's a lot to ask for a human body if the human body isn't prepared for it. It's running is hard. Running 3.2 miles or 5K is even harder. Doing it at decent pace is harder still. So you have to prepare your body for that. And these kind of little on your iPhone coaching schemes will get you from loafing around on the sofa thinking that's impossible to being able to easily / comfortably run 5k and then still want to do some more, maybe the next day or the next day afterwards. So we are the couch to 5k runners, and the universe is the highly trained endurance marathon ultra runner who will run all day and all night with absolutely no effort or problem whatsoever. And we've been expected to keep up with those energies coming in. So this year has been the year that we as couch to 5k runners have really had to basically start moving from the initial form of the training that we've been undergoing into actually, right, I've got to keep pace with this. I've seriously got to keep pace with this and adapt, change, make the process more refined. And in order to do that, we've had to lose the things that have been slowing us down. The analogy would be, on a human level, you need to maybe lose a bit of weight, drink more water, eat less crap, put less toxic medicines in your body, and over the period of time you become lighter and finer and brighter. You feel brighter, you can breathe deeper, your heart's stronger, your muscles are used to the effort and the energy that you're outputting. But still we've got this cosmic gazelle, the universe, who's just increasing its pace all the time. And so that's where we are. That's where we are at the moment with the light that's coming in. Some of us have managed to get very fit and very refined over the course of the year. We've listened to our bodies, we've listened to our higher selves, we've listened to the universe, and we're beginning to feel like we can match the pace stride for stride. By the end of this year, you and I and everybody else in this light field is going to be well trained. And that's been the purpose of this year, to get us into a energy form where we are no longer lagging or struggling or breathless and unable to keep up. Have a little check-in with yourself now. You might be detoxing, I don't know. You might be listening to me and thinking, oh my God, I feel terrible. Many people do, particularly in the Northern Hemisphere, when the evenings get longer and the days get shorter, it gets colder. There's more trash to eat, there's plenty to drink, especially around, festive season. We all do it, I do it as well, but the difference is, at the moment, my body instantly makes me regret it afterwards, and that is the price that we pay on this ascension pathway. When we begin to refine our body, our processes, our mind, our energies, we then have to stick to our guns and walk our talk. And when we don't walk our talk, then we get whacked out of alignment. So coming to the end of this year, just checking in with yourselves now, how different do you feel than maybe when you heard me speaking in the woods at the beginning of the year, talking about what an incredible year it was going to be? And that I still remember the conversation now with beloved Mary as I walked through the woods, tuning into the energies, being told that joy was my birthright, but I was going to have to specifically choose that and work for it as well. And over the course of this year, me personally, I've experienced incredible highs, but also intense lows. I'm always very candid about my process. If there's something that I'm going through, particularly if I believe that it's something that other people are going through, I will always discuss it. I'll always talk about it. We're all human at the end of the day. We all have human bodies. We all have needs. We have emotions. We have our abilities to be incredibly expansive and have our moments of mastery where everything is gold and everything is light, but then we get returned back to like what we feel is maybe base camp, and where everything is just like base level human, boots on the ground, here I am in this physical body doing this job. What the bloody hell do I do next? And I don't think that humanness will ever disappear from us. Not while we're not while we're in this body, in this incarnation, at this moment in time. Even when you go up the ladder and speak to beings that are occupying spaces such as the Intergalactic Council, if they've had human lifetimes, if they've been on Earth and they've experienced incarnation after incarnation and eventually achieved mastery in one of those incarnations, like say Serapis Bey has, or beloved Yeshua, or Mary, Mother of Jesus, those beings had to work really hard to get where they got to. Okay, just as we're having to work really hard to get where we're going. And so they understand the struggle, they understand the humanness. They will always wear that badge. I've been to Earth. I've achieved it. And so this is why many of those masters are so proactive in working with us. Especially, I'm seeing so much and feeling so much of Merlin's energy around each and every one of us. Basically because they understand. They understand what it's like to be human, but they also understand from a higher observational perspective of what exactly is going on this world and what we need to be doing to achieve what we need to do to get to the next phase. And the next phase is now here. When we walk through the Solstice Gateway in 2 days' time, the Christ Light peaks, we move to the next phase. I did predict, don't know whether I was right or not, that we would not get clobbered like we did last year. If you remember last year around this kind of time, absolutely everybody was kind of falling over and getting quite intense detoxes, illnesses, sicknesses, whatever you want. There is plenty of that going around, but I believe the majority of that is being put in place by those that are desperate to fear seed the field. And that's a little bit what I want to talk about next, because I feel that it's quite important. There is an extraordinary level of effort, and I mean it is, you've got to wonder how much energy and effort can be put into trying to get people to go back to sleep again, to get people to move back into fear. I mean, I live in England, in the UK, as you know. Every single ounce and scrap of effort to get people to believe that something bad's happening out there, something's going to get them, you know, or conflict is coming to the doorstep, or hunger, poverty, lack of power, money, all of this kind of thing. Every single angle that can be covered is being covered simultaneously, to the point where it's actually quite saturating. There is a huge amount of, I'm seeing a lot of social media fatigue. You know, I mean, if you're listening to me here today, thank you, because I know a lot of people that have just gone, do you know what? I don't want to listen to any of that anymore, whether it's good, bad or indifferent. I've had enough of the stuff that's being pumped out of the devices. But on the other side, this is the best place to get information should it resonate with you. But there's an awful lot of opportunities to listen to stuff that will not resonate with your bodies and your fields if you're trying to hold light on a high level. And that is, I've never seen so much effort put into it. I'm genuinely boggled at how much time and effort is being put into trying to convince people to be afraid of something or to be ill. Now, this is how powerful we are as manifestors. Okay, once we start to collectively and individually believe that something is happening, it will occur, because we're changing the program. We're changing the program to form and fit that reality that the consensus believes. And because so many people are beginning to wake up now, they're beginning to see exactly what has been going on, particularly not just for the last 5 years, but all the way back to the fall of Atlantis. The groups of souls that have had they've basically had the stage. They've had the opportunity to do what they want, where they want, But it became quite apparent in 2020, I think it was around 2021. It was around the time of the Lionsgate in 2021. I got a message from Archangel Gabriel that had a little bit of a hint to it. He said they have crossed way over the boundaries of the way that spiritual laws are enacted upon and held within this planet, because it's when I'm trying to explain this in a way that doesn't kind of trigger the algorithm too much. I'll say it anyway. They're basically going for the innocents, and they're basically using all manner of distortions and untruths in order to do that. Now, it doesn't matter what part of the spectrum that you serve on, whether you're serving the dark or whether you're serving the light, you have to stick to the spiritual laws. Okay, you have to gain permission. You have to have some kind of transparency in what you are doing. And in their desperation, they've done absolutely the opposite. And now it's basically the gloves are off. And that was the message that I got in 2021. We're all probably sat here going, oh, when's it going to happen? You know, like we've been hearing this for ages. But believe me, it is occurring already in the energetics. There is a huge amount coming in that's going to basically level the playing field at some point coming in. But the most important thing is that we're not looking at that. We're not waiting for it. We're not expecting it. We're not kind of cheering it on like, you know, like torches and pitchforks. We're working on our own process and understanding that everything that occurs out in the universe happens for a reason, cause and effect. At the moment, what's going on around the world is serving to wake a lot of people up. That's why the pressure is on. That's why it continues, in order to get the people that haven't seen previously, now don't have a veil on their third eye, and are actually beginning to become extremely uncomfortable with what they're being presented with on a day-to-day basis. But just to kind of conclude what I'm saying on there, the karmic playing field is most definitely starting to come into a point where it is going to be leveled. So that's all I'll say on that one. So as we move through the Solstice Gateway, as we begin to open our hearts and our minds and our fields, spread our wings, begin to get ready for the coming year of the fire horse, we are ready. Okay, you are ready. You might feel at the moment like that you're not, but you are. Look at the work that you've done. Always check in with yourself. Look at the work you've done. Look how far you've come. Look at the things that you've been through. If the things that you've been through are making you feel like you haven't got the energy to deal with anymore, you can't cope with anymore, step out the field, go into the forest, work with the elementals, put your feet in a stream, do everything that you can to just regenerate, rejuvenate, bring those batteries back up again. Because we all know that light workers, individually and collectively, we can't pour from an empty cup. And there's a lot of empty cups out there because it has been so absolutely intense. It really has. So I'm looking forward very much to seeing how quickly we can collectively steer the direction of travel next year. It's not on our own. We're very, very powerful. We hold the mighty I am presence. Each of us that are now adapting to this spiritual frequency here on earth, we hold the mighty I am presence. That is incredible. Okay, there's never ever been so many beings on this world that are holding the power and the frequency and the vibration that we do, and that makes this process unstoppable. There's nothing that can stop this process. Okay, we have formed and aligned with the Atlantean Ascension gold print, the timeline, but there are still so many distractions out there that have the opportunity to pull us out, pull us in either direction. You know, what's going to disturb our peace today? Who's going to disturb our peace today? What's going to crack the bubble? It's up to us to make sure that that bubble doesn't crack, that we don't get knocked out of alignment. It's our responsibility. Nobody can do your ascension process for you, and that's something that I've been told many times, especially when I'm whinging and wriggling and carrying on because things are tough and difficult, which invariably they have been. So my loves, onwards and upwards for the next phase. There will of course be another ascension update before the end of this year, but I'd just like to invite all of you who are guided to join David Esri and I on Sunday night, the Great Illumination. It's going to be a really lovely evening, a bit of a solstice party. David and I always like to come together. We celebrate the Lion's Gate, the solstices. So if you fancy joining us on Sunday night, if you haven't arranged to do anything else, come and join us, or come along for the recording a little bit later on. It's always just as powerful. So that's my musings from the woods today. Stop, take stock, look at how far we've come, and know that you are ready. You are ready for the next phase. I know this, you know this, and the higher realms and the heavens and all of the other beings of light know this too. Love you all very much, sending you so much love from my heart to yours, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.